Good morning, everyone. I am Ramil Andrade. So for today's lesson, we will be tackling about sample lesson designs. So what is sample lesson designs, kaha? Or shall we say lesson designs? Okay, so when we say lesson designs, it is also called lesson plan. So it serves as a guide of a teacher on how to assess the students. So below are sample lesson designs in multi-grade teaching. So first, the whole class teaching. The second one is grouping by same ability. So in grouping by same ability, it has type 1 and 2. The third one is center-based learning activity. And the fourth one, teaching different concepts. And the fifth one is cooperative learning. So first, let's focus first the number one, which is the whole class teaching, and the rest will be discussed by my co-discussant. So whole class teaching. So again, I am teacher Ramil Andrade. So what is whole class teaching? Do you have any idea what is whole class teaching? Okay, let's find out what is whole class teaching. So when we say whole class teaching, it is about learning together. Teachers and students at the same time, in the same space, and with each person focused on the same learning goals. So we already know that in multi-grade classes, there is in one classroom there is 3 grade level. So let's focus here the grade 1, grade 2, and grade 3. So in whole class teaching, the keyword here is learning together, teachers and students. So and also focus on the same learning goals. So the teacher here will discuss one topic, the same topic in grade 1, grade 2, and grade 3. But in giving activities, the teacher will give activities according to their level. So from simple to complex. So if in grade 1, the teacher will give simple activities, and in grade 3, the teacher will give a complex activities. So, but they have the same topic that being discussed by the teacher. So in a particular classroom. So here is an example of whole class teaching. So malabalang hay aralin sa sibika at kultura 1, 2, and 3 in a multi-grade classes. So let's focus here the activities given by the teacher. So here in unang baitang, kulayan ang simbolo at isulat kung ano ito. So in grade 1, the teacher give activities only color yun ni siya. But in second grade, sumulat ng isang maikling talata kung bakit ito ang napili mong simbolo. So di ba na makita nato nga from simple to complex gyud ang paghatag sa maestra sa iyahang estudyante sa grade 1, grade 2. And in grade 3, pumili ng isang karapatan at isa sa dula ito. So makita nito nga from simple to complex ang activities nga gihatag. So, but they have the same topic that being discussed by the teacher in a classroom.
Good morning, everyone. Before I start, can you see a reporter? Can you hear my voice? Okay, by the way, I am Ariel Onoswico, and I am going to tackle about the grouping by same ability type 1 and 2. So, what do we mean by grouping by same ability? Can everyone tell me what is the meaning? Okay, very good. So, ability grouping is also called a tracking. It's the practice of grouping children together according to their talents in the classroom. So, for example, if there's one student have the ability to draw. So that student belong to the group of student has the ability how to draw. And another example is if there's a student know how to solve math problem easily. So, that students belong to the group of students know how to solve. Okay, so for you to understand more, let's proceed here in the example of the activity. So let's focus on the first activity. And the first activity is the teacher present a poem, and that is how the little kite learned to fly. So the teacher let the students read the poem orally with the proper expression. And read the poem together with the class, making sure that the standards for oral reading is followed. Muna siya ang example. Then, the teacher let the students answer the question, and the first question is, what did the big kite tell to the little kite? Another question is, what did the little kite tell to himself? Another question, how did the little kite feel as he rose up in the sky? So if you were a little kite, would you do the same thing? So now, let's proceed to the grouping by ability. So first category is fast group. Ang scores, nakascore og 8 to 10 sa katong kanang questions nga gibuhat sa teacher. So let the pupil answer activity sheets for this level or group. And the next category is average group, and ang nakascore ani is 5 to 7. So have the pupils answer the activity sheets for this level group. And the last category is the slow group. Ang nakascore din niya kaya ang atong mga nakascore og 4 and below. Corrective instructions and provide an intensive review and mastery of the skill. Yeah, have the student answer activity sheets for this level or group. So, kining activity, kay man siya pa ang kini ang silbi maagigan isa kan teacher nga kini makaibaw ang teacher kung asa na belong ang kanang bata, kung diya ba sa fast group, average group, or slow group. Nakasabot ra mo? Okay, so let's proceed now to the grouping by same ability type 2. So let's focus here in the learning concept. So this activity's primary directions are north, south, east, west, and the secondary directions are north, east, northwest, southeast, and southwest. So the skill focus here is locating the places using primary and secondary directions. Okay, so in the learning experience, the teacher let the student have a test, and this test is lead the pupils to study a map and complete the given sentences by filling out the primary and secondary directions. So in grouping, in the first group is katong after nga makaka-answer ang kanang student kay then nakascore og 7 to 10 kay ang activity 1 nila kay locate the places in the map, and ang activity 2 nila kay use primary and secondary directions to complete the given sentences. Ang activity 3 nila kay draw objects by following the given directions. And the activity 4 is give or point the right direction. Kung siya itong mga nakascore og 7 to 10 mo nilahang mga ipa-answer. Kining grouping. So in letter B, the average and slow group mo siya nga itong mga nakascore og 6 and below. So ang example ng activity nila kay who sits in the front of you, at your back, on your left or right. So diri ma-determine sa teacher kung nakasabot pa jud ang students sa kini nga group. So are there other ways of telling the location of a particular places, person, or objects? Then in the presentation of this group is present to the class a simple map that shows common scenes, sports in our country with big illustrations of primary and secondary directions. So the teacher asks questions which will require the pupils to places and objects in the map, such as what is found north of the waterfalls, what are the primary and secondary directions, and guide the pupils to state why map and directions are important. Okay, so sa kini nga type B nga grouping by same ability kay dili mo mahibaw na katong mga kanang student gali nga makakalocate kung asa dapita siya nga directions by the given of primary and secondary directions. So in the whole class is have the pupils work on exercise in telling and locating groupings. Okay, so nakasabot na naman sa grouping by same ability type A and B. Okay, all right, very good.
Good morning once again, class. I am teacher Rizal. So, some teachers or the previous teachers already discussed some of the sample lesson designs, which are the whole class teaching and the grouping by the same ability. And now let's tackle about the center-based activity or multiple intelligences. So, class, what is center-based learning activity or CBLA? So let's find out. So center-based activity is a learner-centered educational environment that focuses on providing and expanding possibilities for various learning styles and techniques. Individual has a multiple intelligences, thus need to build comprehensive learning centers environment that will allow learners to improve their parallel thinking capabilities. So in this sample lesson design, so individuals or the students has multiple intelligence, thus the teacher need or build comprehensive learning centers environment that will allow learners to improve their parallel thinking capabilities. So as a sort of recap, so what are those multiple intelligences or who are Gardner's multiple intelligences? So those are the verbal or linguistic intelligences. Second, logical mathematical intelligences. The third one is musical intelligences, spatial intelligences, bodily kinesthetic intelligences, intrapersonal intelligences, interpersonal intelligences, naturalistic intelligences, and existential intelligences. In a multi-grade classroom provides a variety of topics and activities that can be arranged for a concept-based or theme-based activity. So in creating a center-based activity, the teacher must follow the guidelines in doing it. First is consider a theme of interest. So as a teacher, you should consider a theme of interest. What are the topics that you're going to discuss for your students? And after that, after deciding on a theme, teacher can ask the following questions. So in making center-based activities, so the teacher must also ask if these things can they apply intent for the students, because in center-based activity, you have a students that have multiple intelligences. So first is a linguistic. So how can I use the spoken words? So in making center-based activity, you should also ask, as a teacher, you ask yourself of how can you use the spoken words in that activity. Second is the logical or mathematical. How can I bring in numbers? So how can the students be involved in numbers? So the spatial, how can I use visual aids? And next is bodily kinesthetic, or how can I use the body? So you should also consider, so what are the things that you should consider for the students to move or do something inside the classroom. So interpersonal, how can I engage learners in a group work? Next is the intrapersonal, how can I evoke personal feelings? Next is the naturalistic, or how can I bring in nature? Next is the existential, or how can I bring in philosophical questions? So it creates centers in the classroom with materials that are appropriate for each identified multiple intelligences. So this is the sample of center-based activity. So let's find out how did the teacher tackle the different intelligences of the students in making this activity. So first is in the objectives, this identified learning objectives given varied learning activities. The multi-grade pupils must have completed the following with 85% proficiency. So first is describe who is Santa Claus. Then second is discuss the story of Santa Claus. So ang A niya ko describe who is Santa Claus, so mauna siya ang theme nga part. Next is sa C, explain the good deeds of Santa Claus. Next is sing and dance the Christmas Santa Claus. So diha ni siya nag-focus sa musical smart or music smart. So the E is spread good deeds of Santa Claus through distribution of bundles of joy to the helpers of the school. So diri siya na-apply ang intrapersonal or people smart. Next is make a Santa Claus design from recycled materials. So sa ika-F sa niya nga objectives or integral learning outcomes, dito po na-apply ang art smarts. Next is analyze pictograph on the bundles of joy given to the community is a logical or number smart. Next is created a Christmas village of Santa Claus or nature. Diri na apply ang nature smart. Next is associated the role life of Santa Claus in the one's existence. So diri pud siya ang na-apply ang existential or thinking smart. Ang next kay diri na-apply niya ang intrapersonal or self-smart, which is reflected in one's personal experiences on the given activities in a center-based learning. So sa learning outcomes niya, diri ang theme. Ang theme diri kay is Christmas. So who is Santa Claus? Sa ingredients exploration. So sa diri niya gi-apply ang iyang multiple intelligence sa elaboration. So ang A niya sa elaboration is the whole class, which is nag-focus siya sa musical smart, which is the teacher let the students sing and dance of the Christmas Santa Claus. Next is the intrapersonal or people smart, which is through small groups distribute special bundles of joy to the helpers of the school, janitors, guards, gardeners, and etc. So sa letter B niya sa ilang evaluation, diri pud niya gi-center ang multiple intelligences. So ang A is the linguistic word smart. So gi-apply niya diri is color the adjective words that describe Santa Claus in a given story. Next is a nature smart. Yun sa niya pag-apply ang nature smart, which create, draw, a Christmas village North Pole of Santa Claus. Next is the art smart. So let the pupils create a Santa Claus design from received materials. Next is the logical or number smart. Analyze the given pictograph on the bundles of a given to a community. Next is intrapersonal or people smart. Through a small group, distribute special bundles of joy to the helpers of the school. So sa F niya, dito sa niya gi-apply ang existential or thinking smart. So compare the rule life of Santa Claus to one's life. So sa evaluation niya nga part, diri niya gi-apply ang intrapersonal or self-smart, which is writing of a journal that reflects one's personal experience and given center-based learning activities. So as you can see at the sample lesson designs, it tackles about the multiple intelligences. So there are different activities in the lesson design which all of the students can be involved or actively involved in the activity.
Good day, everyone. So, my topic for today is teaching different concepts. So, what is teaching different concepts be like? So, in a multi-grade class, teaching different concepts is like how we are able to teach different topics, or how are we going to discuss different approach. How we are going to give different activities in each different grade level. So, what are the different concepts of teaching? So, the teaching can be defined as engagement with learners to enable their understanding and application of knowledge concepts, and processes. It includes design, content selection, delivery, assessment, and reflection. So for example, here. So for example, for teaching different concepts is this. Wait. Lesson design in mathematics for grade 1 and 2 and grade 3 pupils. So as you can see, in grade 1 and 2 pupils and grade 3 pupils are in a different content. The lesson design is for here. Intended learning outcomes for grade 1 and 2 is with the use of varied learning activities. The grade 1 and 2 multi-grade pupils with at least 85% accuracy are expected to tell the use of the calendar. Second, name the days of the week. Next is share the importance of the use of calendar in our daily activities. So as you can see, for the grade 3 pupils, the intended learning outcomes is with the use of varied learning activities. The grade 3 multi-grade pupils with at least 85% accuracy are expected to first identify the numbers that are divisible by 2. Next is give examples of numbers that are divisible by 2 and integrate tips in divisibility by 2 in our everyday life. So as you can see, it has different concepts of a lesson. So and in the learning content for grade 1 and 2 pupils are, as you can see, the topic is reading the calendar. Then sa grade 3 pupils is that in the learning content, the topic is divisibility by 2. So as you can see, it has different topics, and that is what teaching different concepts is on how we are going to provide different strategies, different approach on how we are going to discuss or how are we going to give lessons to different grade level in a one setting classroom. So just like so that would be all. Thank you.
Hi class, I am teacher Kari Arcelia, and now let's proceed to our last topic, which is cooperative learning. So, what is cooperative learning di class? Unsa man ni ang cooperative learning? So, have you ever participated in a group activity, or in a group project, or in a group of people to achieve some task? If so, you probably share some knowledge with others in the group, or you may also learn something from them as well. So, makonsider ni siya na cooperative learning. So now, let's dig deeper kung unsa jud niya ang cooperative learning. So, cooperative learning involves students working together to accomplish shared goals. And it is this sense of interdependence that motivate group members to help and support each other. So again, class, ang kaning cooperative learning is an organized and structured way to use small groups para ma-enhance ang learning sa students o ilang interdependence. For example, ang teacher maghatag og task, group project, group activity, or group assignment. So, students will work together para ma-achieve ni ang gihatag na task. And then, each student has responsibilities or tagaan of responsibilities and is held accountable for helping para ma-achieve or mahumani ang certain task given by the teacher. So, therefore, class, the success is depend on the work of everyone. Okay, now that we know what is cooperative learning is, let's proceed to the cooperative learning in the multi-grade classroom. So, For my class, there's a lot of strategies in handling a multi-grade classroom. Some of those include cooperative learning. Cooperative learning as a team for classroom strategies of multi-grade classroom or of multi-grade teaching is very important, and one of those is the peer tutoring. So, in grouping in multi-grade classroom class, students are grouped according to their ability and capacity as they learn in their group. So, by using these strategies, which is the cooperative learning, the students will able to understand more the materials and direct their attention to the details. So, um, here in class is the examples of cooperative learning activities, which are the think, make, share, jigsaw, round robin, tea party, and carousel. So take notes class that cooperative learning is very important in each learner, especially in the multi-grade classroom. Because why? Because it risks achievement and build positive relationship among the students, which is very important for creating a learning community that values diversity. And lastly, it provides experiences that develop both good learning skills and social learning skills. So that's all for our today discussion class. Thank you and goodbye.